What is up, everybody? University here today, and now we have to talk about this nonsense right here, where apparently Fox News and other media outlets are now blaming video games for the recent shootings that's been happening recently in America. So this is kind of ridiculous. As this post says, it seems like these shootings have gotten so much worse since video games became so realistic and so violent. So there has been violence since the beginning of time, since mankind has existed. And that was way before video games were ever even thought of. So what caused all those acts of violence before video games even existed? Spoiler, it wasn't the video games. So this is the most ridiculous deflection I have seen from this network right here, where they want to address the real situations going on in this country, but just address video games. Just use that as a scapegoat to why people are just losing their minds and going into shooting sprees and stuff like that. But it's just completely ridiculous. Video games don't make you become violent all of a sudden. They don't make you become violent. It's people who are already crazy to begin with, that they already have screws loose to begin with. It's like people just trying to tie this into one another. Some trying to make a super Mr. Fantastic reach to say video games causing this. Is just so ridiculous. Video games don't cause violence. Crazy people cause violence, and that's what it is pretty much. This guy says, blaming video games again, but are fine with violence, nudity shown in movies and TV shows. Yeah, they don't have a problem with violence in TV shows or movies, or nudity in movies as well. But the video games are just so bad and awful. We have all these same games, but no mass shootings here in Australia. Yeah, not to mention all these other countries have video games as well, but they don't have the same issues in other countries. But just blame video games. That's the easy solution right there. And this has been going on for the longest. They've been trying to blame video games for these crazy acts of violence since like the 80s. So this is nothing new. Since video games existed, they've been trying to blame video games for the longest. At one point, it was like they were blaming I guess like music, like certain music people listen to, they were blaming that. Then they were blaming I think comic books at one point too. So this is always a thing where these politicians, these media outlets blame the most recent thing that's popular right now. It says video games are real politics, don't blame that, but this is a complete nonsense to actually believe this. And the sad thing is, some people actually don't believe that video games are actually causing these violent shootings or outbursts, and it's completely ridiculous. So it's just nonsense. Apparently, video games put guns in people's hands. Shaking my freaking head. I am sure seeing this will make me violent, right? This is Planet of Kingdom Hearts. Okay. Back to blaming video games. Hey, at Fox News. Racism and easy access to guns has nothing to do with video games, but the easy way out is them always to blame video games. Yeah, it's totally the video games. Well, they show a whole family just armed with guns, but it's the video games that's causing all this. Okay. Maybe Fox News, what it's talking about this time, video games themselves aren't the issue, but the social community of male gamers can be and has been radicalized in several ways. Okay. I played nothing but first-person shooters, and I've never had the tendency to shoot someone in real life. Stop playing video games. Yeah, that's like you watching a movie and it makes you want to act out what you see in the movie. Like, it doesn't happen unless you already got some screws loose to begin with. That's not gonna happen. Weird how the rest of the world plays video games and doesn't have mass shootings. Yeah, they don't. Why doesn't Fox News address that? Why these other places across the world don't have the same problems we do? They don't address that though. I wonder why video games elsewhere in the world don't engage in mass shootings. Oh wait, they don't have real guns. Yes, the video games of the country who let the R word have guns. Okay. Never in history has a perpetrator said they did it for video games. I don't literally think there's ever been one who said they did it because they saw in a video game. And if they did, they probably would just use that because these dummies would probably let them get them a lighter sentence. They said that, so you can have something to go with. Let's see. Violent video games available worldwide. Frequent mass shootings available only in the USA. So this is more of a political. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about politics on this channel, but it's just ridiculous that they're blaming video games for this nonsense. It's just a crazy guy who did some crazy stuff, or evil person did some evil things. It's like, blame video games for it. Aren't these losers tired? Yeah, they've been trying to push the same thing since like almost 3 decades. They've been trying to push that video games are just so violent, and it's causing all this violence. Pretty sure tax fraud won't be so prominent if so many people hadn't played Yoshi's Island. Played Animal Crossing, and now I have the certain urge to shoot up a grocery store. Yeah, that was literally one of the most non-violent games ever made. I don't know to remember when they used this excuse for Mortal Kombat and Doom. How did they use that for Mortal Kombat? You don't even have guns in Mortal Kombat. At least if they said I can at least understand for like a shooting game. But Mortal Kombat, what, they think people are gonna rip somebody's spine out in real life or something? Like, that doesn't make sense. My goodness, video games aren't the problem. For the millionth time, I played GTA since I was 12, and not once have I thought about shooting people in real life. So many people have probably played GTA since they were. I played probably my first GTA around this time too. I never had inkling of shooting somebody, so maybe it's not the video games that's making people go crazy in this country and go on shooting sprees. Many studies have been done to prove they don't make people want to commit acts of violence. Yeah. I've played Dating Sims and still got zero women. What is your point? The most popular games this year are Elden Ring, a medieval fantasy game about magic, Nintendo Switch Sports, a game about playing tennis, and Pokemon Legends Arceus that came out, Pet an Owl made of tree bark. Fox News is deflecting because they know they're responsible again. Yeah, a lot of people have been blaming Fox News for like they're pushing different agendas to their audience. And it's like they're the main culprit who are they're the main people being accused of what's going on in this country. So I agree with this. I saw my successful criminal enterprises playing GTA Online. Super realistic, having to fight the flying bags with missiles. The same games are sold around the world. You don't see this crap in other countries. No freaking way. They're trying to wiggle out this one with the dead video game excuse. Yeah, it's so tired at this point. Like, I'm just curious, like, what's going to be the new scapegoat after video games? Like, VR? Like, I don't know, like VR gaming? Like, what's going to be the next excuse after this? Wears out at this point. My time machine worked. It's the 1990s again. I never knew playing Forza Horizon 5 and Project Cars 2 can make me want to go out and shoot up a grocery store. Yeah, dude, it's definitely video games, not because you need to pay $200 a session for a therapist. That's at least 70% of the time. 70% of the time, they only want your money and not to help you. That's true. That kind of sucks. Like, you would think the therapists want to help you. It's just they're getting paid a lot of money to do so. But this guy says they don't even want to help you. So I don't know how accurate that is. But if that is true, that's kind of scumbagish right there. And it's literally their job to want to provide a service to you to help you get you situated up there. But they don't really care. That kind of sucks. They've been saying this for at least 15 to 20 years, and it still isn't true. It never will be. However, the online gaming community is definitely being used to try to recruit these kids into racist hate groups and forums. Okay. Blaming video games again instead of the racism and hate that caused most of these attacks. just plainly just so this guy the STFU. Yeah. Yep, it was the video game's fault. Mental illness is not the huge problem here. Dude's got a point. I got the urge to eat traffic cones whenever I play Kirby on the Forgotten Land. Yeah, people are just being sarcastic at this point, which is kind of hilarious because it's just ridiculous. But yeah, I'm gonna conclude it right here. Make this a short one, but yeah, playing video games will make you violent. It's probably a mental health issue, which is really going on in a lot of these situations. People are going through things. They don't want to talk to nobody. They don't want to speak to a therapist. They're going to go to these little online forums where they can be part of the community. Even the community is like super hateful and just racist. They join those instead of just actually seeking help to make their lives better. They commit these evil acts of violence. And since guns are readily available in this country to anybody who wants to purchase one who's like of age, you can buy one with ease. And that's the problem, but people don't want to address that, so it's going to continue more and more. But blaming video games is just stupid at the end of the day. It's like the video games didn't cause this guy to do what he did. That's because he was an evil person. He decided to act out on evil and this evil nonsense. So I'm going to conclude right here. Like I said, I only talk about politics. I don't like talking about politics, but this is just kind of ridiculous. Like, they're really blaming video games with this recent shooting. It's just like, wow. I definitely want to see your thoughts down below. If you kind of agree with this sentiment, or you kind of disagree with the sentiment, let me know down below. Leave a like this video. Always thanks for watching, and peace.